good afternoon, evening, winners.
Time has no meaning.
Oh, time has no meaning. Record start times don't have meaning. Welcome once again to the Wrong Button podcast, and I am joined by the lovely Mrs. Play.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to be back.
It's great to have you back. You know, we're going to do it. We've heard it before, but we're going to do it one more time here.
For realsies?
For realsies this time.
We were having microphone issues, you guys.
It's the joys of doing a podcast here. But the fun part is we get to, once again, talk about two things.
What two things are we talking about?
That you love and adore.
What?
One is me being a naive, impressionable child. And the other one is food.
I do love food, and I do love you, and it's less about you being a naive, impressionable child, so much as just your innocent enthusiasm.
I do have a lot of enthusiasm.
When there's something that Mr. Play gets excited about, it's like the inner child just comes out. Like, you can see that it's like gung-ho enthusiasm, no preconceived notions. We're doing this, tell me more, I gotta learn right now. And I do love that about him. And yeah, food is one of my most favorite things. I'm super food motivated. Spend a lot of time thinking about food, eating the food, talking about the food. And now we're going to do it for an hour with you.
We are. It's getting close to the holiday season. We're so happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah to those Kwanzaa.
You're forgetting other things.
I'm forgetting Rosh Hashanah. No,
I don't know.
Okay. Happy holidays.
There you go.
To people who celebrate them, whatever creed, religion that you might be, and how you might celebrate it. But most of us tend to break bread together on the holidays. You and I are actually going to my mother's. Mm-hmm. It'll have been last week. Don't worry, everyone. The food we had was delicious. It was a ton of seafood. It's always good. So I can preemptively say that next week, but last week, the food was delicious. But you and I have spent a great deal of our relationship advice. Relationship advice. Wow,
Freudian slip. You okay? Do we need to talk about something?
Maybe, but that's a story for another time.
All right.
A lot of there's a good part of our relationship that has been around questing for food, I would say.
Yeah, questing for food. I like that a lot.
I'm glad that you do, because it culminates in a pretty big way, which I think we'll save towards the end. But I said our questing began when I was like, ramen, anime food. I want the anime things in my mouth and in my tummy.
It looks so good on TV. I want to try it.
And you were like, well, if you want to try it, we can go here to this place and do this thing.
Yes.
That you want to do. And I was like bitching how we do.
We have places in the United States where you can try those.
Yes.
Would you like to go visit one of those establishments? Obviously, this was pre-COVID. But yeah, we can totally go try those things. That bowl of noodles. It's usually noodles, you guys. It's usually a bowl of noodles.
Oh, it's always noodles.
Or rice in some variation, but yeah, it's a bowl of something.
Yeah, and but you've said it started much earlier when I was courting you, mm-hmm. as you often like to say to me.
Hey, when did we go? I'm like, you were courting me. But yeah, even pre-dating, when I was first really getting to know you, and came out to visit because I lived, several hours away. So to come out and see you, would involve an overnight stay somewhere. And you just really showed me your hometown, and these are my usual haunts. This is the best place to get a sandwich, the best place to grab a slice of pizza. These are the best fries. That is the end of this place right here. It's not just any boardwalk fries. It is the place to get fries. And I knew we were meant to be. Well, it was one of the reasons, a good indicator, when we both had an atrocious amount of malt vinegar on our fries.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because everyone's like, how could you do that? I'm like, it's the best. It's
a place called Thrasher's. I come from Ocean City, Maryland. It's called Thrasher's French Fries. And And you do not ask for ketchup.
No.
You get Thrasher's fries, and you drench the things with... You put salt and vinegar, and that's what goes on the fries. Cider vinegar. Cider vinegar, very important.
Yeah, it's the best. But yeah, like even as
Is that why you like soggy French fries in general? Because this just reminds you of French fry being drenched down in vinegar.
It's a texture thing. I like the soggy fry more.
Okay. Sorry, I think she's weird because I like the crispier fries.
He likes crispy fries, and I like soggy fries.
Wrong alarm.
But yeah, like even as our relationship, like past fries, beyond fries, progressed, food was always a big component. Cooking with each other, for each other, going to the farmers markets together.
Oh my god, farmers markets.
Yeah, and like even when we were like on a tighter budget, like we would like splurge on a fancy produce. By fancy produce, I mean like dragon fruit. That's not found on like Virginia. So just like trying food, sharing food together. And Mr. Play still watches and enjoys anime, and one of my favorite things about anime is the presentation of food. Like it looks delicious. And frequently it's like based off of real food. It's not like that's just brown mush. Like in some instances it is, but you can tell. I'm thinking like Naruto or even like Food Wars. You can't talk about anime food and not say Food Wars.
Oh my god,
but it's like so delicious, and the characters when they come back from questing or they just arrived at their next location after a big battle, after a hard day, and you're like, you know what, I just need something, and they're famished and they slurp noodles and like an entire bowl the size of your head in a single gulp. Like you pick the bowl up and you just like keep shoveling it in there until it's all gone.
Oh, that's always one of my like favorite things when you like they have it up and you can see the like the rice just because I'll sit there and I'll be like eating and like but then you go somewhere and you're like nope, someone's got noodles and they're just like
slurp.
Yeah, slurp, and you just keep feeding it, and it's so I love it, and it was always super cool, like you said, to see that in an anime where it's like I want to go there and they have these giant things like I need another one, and it's like and I'm like yes, I want to do that. I have crushed 2 giant bowls of ramen from Mion. Like I have done that. However, it feels like one of those things like if you get like a Coke bottle or something that's just a little too full and you shove it and the water just shifts too much.
Sloshy.
Oh my god, it's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah. But yeah, you would be watching something like, oh my god, I want to try that. I'm like, well, that food actually exists in real life, and we can go to places where they make that. And good lord, it was like Christmas probably 3-4 years ago now. We went up to Washington, D.C., and we had an evening out in D.C., and I took you to Daikaya, which is near the Verizon Center, for those of you who know. And it's one of the best ramen establishments in the country.
It's delicious.
It's genuinely phenomenal. Like everything is top grade. And as of this recording, they had over like 3,500 reviews. They were sitting at like 4.5 stars. It's excellent. If you're in DC in a post-COVID world, you must try it.
Post-pandemic, pre-apocalypse, be a good place to go.
It's phenomenal food. And I mean, prior to having Daikaya, we'd only ever had like the 29-cent stovetop ramen brands, and there is no comparison. And to actually understand the like, oh my gosh, this noodle is chewy and the broth is so salty, but like it's supposed to be that way, and the depth of the flavor, and like, oh my god, I can add egg, and it's like a soft boiled egg. What is this? And delicious bamboo shoots.
The soft boiled egg. Let's go.
He's stuck on the soft boiled egg.
Let's go back, because that's one of those things like you see an anime, you see a ramen bowl in anime, you see you see the inari. You always see the inari. You always see what I'm assuming is like pork belly sticking up out the side.
Yeah, some pork product.
You see the fish cakes, which have the swirls in them. Which fucking I didn't even know that was a real thing until
it's real. And you're like, what? they have this in the anime. I'm like, yeah, it's because it's real.
Yeah.
Art imitates life, which imitates art, which imitates life.
It's so...
There's layers upon layers. I'm sorry, go ahead. Continue.
It's like the flavors are layered in there.
I'll let you speak now.
And it's so delicious, and you would see that, like, the soft boiled egg when it's one of those things, because, like, how have you had an egg? Well, I've had sunny side up eggs, and like when we do scrambled, over easy, omelets, like hard boiled, but like soft boiled was one of those things where I'm like, wait, it's a hard boiled egg with a yolky center. Yeah, soft boiled. But it's a hard-boiled egg with a yolky center.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called soft-boiled. And it just, like, my
blew
brain...
his mind. He had so many, like, mind explosions on that night.
Oh, my God. And it's so good. And that was, like, that was really... like I said, I would say that's, like, the first start of a quest for, like, food.
Chris's anime food experience.
Oh, my God.
Episode 1.
Episode 1. Going to Daika. And it's so delicious. And we have an Asian market up the street. We have a new ramen place that's about 2 years old now. It's Mion. And their ramen is delicious.
Yes.
It's like Daikai, like one of the best in the country. So, like,
and it was his first.
Yeah, you never forget your first, guys. But that's always... They're always really good, because I'll be like, hey, I've had a rough day, or now we're sitting here talking about it. I'm like, it's supposed to cool off tonight, honey. Can I rope you into ramen maybe tonight?
We can probably do ramen.
Fuck yeah.
Sounds delicious,
It
actually.
does. After talking about this for like an hour.
Yeah,
it'll be like 4
I'm
o'clock.
going to have to now.
Yeah, now we
like,
have to.
I must.
But like that was a really cool experience where you were like, we can, like, because you're not a big anime person.
I'm not, no.
You'll watch some of it with me.
Yeah.
But it was, for you to be like, hey, this thing that you love.
But it's food.
Yeah.
I found a way to bridge it, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like, we're going to go up here and we're gonna try this, and like, it's going to be...
It exists in real life, and we can go do that.
We need to finish Food Wars. They're on, like, season 3.
I know. But yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal. There was even... So one of the things... I don't even know what anime you're watching, because it's like such a casual snack food, but it's called onigiri, and it's like this little rice triangle with like a little seaweed wrapper, and in the center of your beautiful rice triangle is like whatever filling that your heart possibly desires, and it's like so fucking good, you guys. But there was an again, pre-COVID, there was an establishment in Richmond, Virginia, where we went down, and I was like, Chris, we're going to go to this place. You're going to love it. It's called onigiri. It's the thing that you see in the animes all the time.
And it's right next to, like, their Asian market. It was Carytown. It was called Richmond Onigiri. And it was our first time having onigiri.
Yes.
Yes. And it was affordable. Like, you and I went in there and we got like 7 or 8 pieces of onigiri, and it's like, guys, like, you see it in the show, and they like have like the 5 of them, and they're like popping it in their mouths.
I get it, man.
And it's one of those things where you're like, oh, it's these little cute they are substantial. Like, you have 2 of those, and you're like, I can have a third.
Yeah.
I'm going to hate myself. And it's just because you're gonna be so blighted on rice.
Yeah,
like
it's so good.
And then we've got the onigiri parcels, which is like the fried tofu skins that we'll get at Wegmans, and they did that too, and that's super delicious. And then you and I have made onigiri.
We did. That was one of our
love building exercises.
Yes, instead of going out to eat on Valentine's Day, you guys, because I'm sorry, I can't do like another.
Your surf and turf is not that impressive. Yeah, let me sit here and critique you on your crab cake, motherfucker.
Well, that was one way. I was going to say just like, another steak or like some sort of salmon thing with a molten chocolate lava cake and my overpriced red wine and my mandatory single red rose. I'm sorry, I can't do it. That's not my love language. It doesn't speak to me. So Mr. Play and I would stay in on Valentine's Day, and we would cook something together. And about 2 years ago, we made our own onigiri by hand. Did you know that you can actually get them in a mold? And it's so much easier if you use the mold.
We do need... the mold we have is smaller,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's a smaller mold. But when we tried making it by hand after going to Richmond Onigiri, ours were like huge, the size of softballs. We're like, how do we get it into this nice triangle?
There's an episode just talking about that. There's an episode of So you know I'm a huge fan of Gundam.
What? I didn't know this. Gundam? Is there multiple?
There's multiple. There's
what?
There's like a new season every year. It's right across the street. You're gonna love it.
Crazy.
But the longest running franchise and their most popular is called SD Gundam, which are the little chibi ones. And I think it's got to be in like 2005 or 2006 because the chibi Gundams are like with the humans and they're working, and one of them comes up to them and is like, they're like, "What's this thing?" And the Gundams in this, because they're like sentient, can eat. Yeah, it's adorable. It doesn't matter.
Why is the machine eating human food?
Because it's delicious.
Okay.
But they're like this is what my mom makes. This is the like the thing, and he goes, hey, like I was sitting with your mom and I got to make one too. And typically when you see it, it's the triangle. It has the nice little inigiri. It's like a perfect little square.
Yeah.
And his is like this giant mound with like 12 of them on the sides of it. And he's like, here's mine. And like everyone looks at it and goes, that's not as pretty. And like he's kind of stuff. And one person's like, oh my God, this is really good. But it doesn't. No, it's still really good. Like it's actually, and it was just really like adorable because that's what I felt like ours was. Like you go there and they're like the inigiri or the
it's perfectly wrapped. It's the consistency, the texture, like made with precision and love. And then ours is like a bunch of noobs.
Oh my God! It was
like
just
you obviously don't know what you're doing.
You weebs, they're just like, oh, I can make this too. But I enjoyed the fact that you could that you could you can fill with anything, like because we'll do like my mom and I will do like a really good tuna salad, like just tuna, like because it's like leftover tuna, it's the end cuts, and when you get down to the last bit of it, you're like, okay, I just want to be able to throw on a sandwich because I've had tuna 800 times this week,
right?
And like it was one of those things, like if you got a good tuna salad, you could throw it in one of those and it would be delicious.
Yeah, we had ones with spicy tuna filling, your conventional, like other just like tuna fillings that you could get them with.
Was yours like sour plum that you got?
I got a sour plum one, and it might sound weird, you guys, but it was genuinely one of my most favorites.
Yeah,
you could get like
avocado.
You can get like tofu fillings. They did pork fillings for like pork belly filling or like pork shoulder filling. It was anything that you could possibly dream up, and you could just like stuff into the center, and it was so flavorful. And
it's one of those like really awesome, like that in itself I think is super cool because it's like we could take something that we love, like your dad makes a wonderful barbecue sauce, and like you like pulled pork, Nick likes, like we could take pulled pork and put it in there, and like a little bit of barbecue sauce, like not a lot because you don't want it to like get soggy, guys, but it like you could take something that's so foreign and make it so like, oh, this is all it is.
Yeah, it's just a crossover.
And then I fell in love with that because there's a Japanese fried rice omelets where they use like leftover veggies, leftover fried rice. I did this for you the other day. You made grilled cheese, and it was it was delicious. So we had that. We had like leftover tomato soup, and turns out Japan loves themselves some ketchup. So you made homemade tomato soup, and I was like, well, I don't have ketchup sitting around the house, but I can use this the filling from the grilled cheese, and then I can use the tomato soup, and I put it in like a giant omelet for you, toasted a piece of bread and pulled that apart so we'd still get like that crispy consistency there, and kind of took homage from like the Japanese omelet almost.
And it was really good. It was different, but it was really good. I'm like, I wasn't expecting this, but I'm not mad at it. But that was super delicious. One of the other things that I've made before, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, but it's okonomiyaki. Again, I'm sorry if I butchered that, but it's essentially like a cabbage pancake.
Oh, is that the thing that you make where we do like the sriracha mayo on it or something like? Or we'll do like, that's super.
And it's shredded cabbage.
We should do that again.
Green onions, carrots, but it was like a post World War II dish because it was just like so cheap to put together. Your binding agents were like flour and egg, a little bit of soy sauce mixed in there. But you use like a mandolin and it's like super fast to put together. And then you mix it all up and then like throw it on a griddle and like a little pancake shaped form. And it was so delicious. Like our smoke alarm would usually go off because that sucker is so sensitive. And I was using sesame oil, and it got a lot of smoke. But that was operator error on my part. But it was like super delicious, and really affordable. Because again, like we were on a tight budget, and this was fun to make. And I made a huge mess in the kitchen. That's part of my MO.
Made kimchi before this.
It was really enjoyable. Yeah, I made kimchi before we started recording. All the foods.
Yeah. And then, so, like, we've just, like, you and I have now done things where it's just like, oh, we saw this in anime, because, like, you and I watched Food Wars, and I've been on there, like, watching things on there, like, they talked about doing this. So, like, I've had points where I've bought a cheaper cut of meat, or we've used a cheaper cut of meat, and I'm like, well, we're going to cook it with a fuck ton of onions, and it turns out, like, nope, the science that they're using is real, like, the recipes and stuff that they use are like, actual recipes.
You're learning cooking tips from an
anime. Oh my, I could, yeah,
Thank you, Japan.
Thank you. Thank you, America. I don't know.
Don't thank America for anything.
Thank you, Japan, for putting out this stuff. But then, going forward from that, game series that I've been, like, super in love with and, like absolutely infatuated with, I've been playing it almost nonstop, has been Yakuza. I've played
Yakuza.
I've played 0, 1, Kiwami 1, and now I'm working through Kiwami 2 on stream. But one of the things that has been super awesome about that is the game features real products. It's a Sega game, and like to like just say when I say like real products, like you play a game and it's like this is Mountain Spring and that's like their Mountain Dew, or this is P Cola or C Cola, and the one of the things that it does is like it's not real food. It's just like, okay, here's generic stand-in, like here's your RC Cola without being RC Cola. But you play Yakuza, and when you wander around the streets of Kamurocho, they have Lay's chips. They also have we have an Asian market by us, and I've been there and been like, we're gonna sit here and try this. We're gonna go in here, we're gonna get things, and we would get steamed bao. But then one day I was like, hey, Nicole's a huge fan of Miss Blade, loves herself some coffee.
I do love coffee.
And I was like, hey, you need to try this brand of coffee. And I just threw it in the cart. It's called Boss Coffee.
And it's in a can.
Yeah, it's just.
And my previous experience, okay, guys, I was very apprehensive. Like, I know to trust it. I know to trust Mr. Play. But in the moments, I'm like, I don't want another canned coffee because I've been hurt before, you guys. My heart's been broken. I've had hopes. I've had dreams and expectations, and it's like too sweet and gross, or like it just like that. How did this get to market? I have questions.
Americans like Starbucks.
I mean, Starbucks can be good. I just didn't. There have been certain versions, and not just Starbucks. I'm not trying to like throw shade on a single corporation, but yeah, I've been disappointed. But Boss Coffee is delicious, and honestly, like their aluminum cans are thicker than ours. Like the wall of the aluminum can is thicker, but it's really delicious. It's lower acidity. It's very satisfying.
We had the Cafe au lait one today.
We had the au lait one.
I've given you the regular.
Yes.
Because I found out about it.
They do a cold brew. It's super good.
It's just it's cold brew coffee, or it's coffee that was brewed hot and then fresh. It's like flash brewed or something else like that. And then it's chilled. And I found out about it because of I found out of it because I was watching the Super Best Friends play, and they had like Pat would always wear this Boss Coffee shirt, and I thought it was like some joke or whatever type of thing that they did. I don't know. Like I was just like, it's one of their bits. It's the bit that they do where he has this Boss Coffee that doesn't really like. And then I watched them play Yakuza, and it was in there, And then I played Yakuza, and I was like,
he's like, holy shit, it's real.
this is a real thing. And then we go to the store, and it was once again a real thing. It was just like,
he's like, I saw this on a video game once. Puts it in the cart.
Yeah.
Like if you were to like,
my life is
like if you guys were like surmise our relationship, it's a lot of that.
It's like it's one of those things like back.
I did this in a video game once. Trust me.
Yeah, trust this, how does it work?
Okay.
Well, what was it? The thing that you sent me yesterday with the kid who was with his class on their in Rome, and they're like, we have to get to this place, and he goes, oh, I can get us there, no worries, and like walks him around some.
They were trying to go. Okay, yeah. It was on the internet from several years ago, but a United States class had gone to Rome for a class trip. They were trying to get to a church, and they'd gotten turned around, and this one kid was like, guys, if we just cut through a couple alleyways, follow me. And he brought them exactly to the church they needed to go to, and everyone's like, oh my god, have you been to Rome before? He's like, no, I've played Assassin's Creed. And that's the laughter that we got when I sent him I'm pretty sure it was on Instagram, when I sent it to him on Instagram a couple nights ago.
But when you play Yakuza, Kamurocho is laid out the same way. It's based on a real area in Tokyo that you can go to. Like, all the places are still there, and you can walk those streets. So you and I could go there now. I've played Yakuza so much to where I'd be like, oh, I know exactly where we need to go, and I could get us right there, and it would be delicious. And it's always it's really, really fun to do that. And then, like, you go to Japan, and Mrs. Play can speak more to this, not because you've been to Japan,
Would
but
love to go to Japan.
because you have been to Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
You like Japan, like here we have supermarkets and like massive grocery stores, and you buy all your preserved food for like the week. You go to Japan and you stop by like your 7-Eleven or corner store, and it's very, very I'm trying to think about it. It's like, okay, you get whatever produce that you need, some protein, like but I guess at home you would already have all of your you would already have like your spices, your fundamentals, your soy, anything else that you might need like that, and you would just go there, pick up like whatever other produce that you needed to make like the next day's dinner, and bam, you'd go home and you'd cook and you'd make it. Mm-hmm. But you could also like go to the corner store and get like a bento box, or you could get like a steamed bun and they'd heat up for you, or something else like that. Whereas like you go to Wawa and you can get a sub made for you, or you can get like their hot dogs that they used to have, where you could pull them out of the dispensers and put them on the thing.
I never ate those because I'm like, I don't trust you on how old this is.
Oh, but it was Wawa. Like,
I'm sure, but I don't know. I didn't have Wawa until I was
starting to date.
No, probably the 7th or 8th grade. So you're like growing up, but like, sure, I guess I was growing up, but that wasn't my impressionable youth.
Oh, okay. We like Wawa. Like, for those of you who don't know, Wawa is a pretty massive chain on the East Coast. It runs from, I believe, southern New York all the way down to like northern North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And then it starts to peter out, and you get like Sheetz and a few other things like that from Wawa, Pennsylvania. But it's a gas station. One, they've got fantastic food. Like if you need to go somewhere to grab like, I just need a sandwich and I don't want to get sick because it's like gas station food, Wawa will not make you sick. Mm-hmm. At least, knock on wood, I've never gotten sick from it. I know people who live in New York, and they're like, they make day trips of going to a Wawa to get food and like whatever else they want to do, and they go home. But anyway, like our corner stores, things like that, it's like cheap, like here's a bag of chips, here's maybe it's a specialty store that has something, but not like that. But you've been to Hawaii for work,
specifically Kauai, and in a lot of the like even the grocery stores, or just some of the markets and stuff. Like on the back wall, there would be like bento boxes as far as the eye can see, with just like different delicious fillings. And of course, like there's like a big merger of the like Hawaiian Polynesian food culture with the Japanese food culture, and it's a beautiful, beautiful marriage, you guys. Like, it's a loving marriage. Their babies are gorgeous. They have perfect skin. Like, it's so good.
I was like, are you talking about the sushi, the bento boxes, or the people? I'm a little confused. Like, this could go a couple different ways.
Yes. But no, it's like you can get like poke, of course, which is Hawaiian, but like the bento boxes, you can get sushi, and there's like, I don't even know what it's called, but it's like this like type of like salami, and it's sliced crosswise, so you get like little discs, and then like there's this like beautiful like rice vinegar seasoned rice on top with like some like nori flakes on top of like the little rice ball that's sitting on top of the little salami thing. I don't know what it's called, but they come in packages of 6, like a little saran wrap over top of them, and they're so fucking good. And food's expensive on Hawaii, but if you go to the market, like on the back wall, just like grab those things, and like that's what I would eat for like breakfast and lunch, because we were like working long hours and stuff. But it was so good and delicious and flavorful and affordable, which is one of my most favorite parts. But yeah, I'm not going to go visit a place and like eat the McDonald's. Like, sorry, not sorry. Like, I want to eat where the locals eat and what they eat. And yeah, the real fascinating part was just getting to come back home. And one of the shows that Mr. Play was watching at the time was like, oh my gosh, I ate that in Hawaii. It's so good. Like, the all that yum faces and like the cat happy smiley face that they do.
Yeah, totally get why they do it now.
Like, yeah, like I get it. And that's the appropriate response. It's delicious.
Well, because like
I'll try and find the name of that dish I was just bragging about.
And it, to me, that was really fun when you came back. You're like, oh no, like I've done that, and it's delicious. And we've done that. Like that was really cool that you were like, nope, went out here, had this thing. It was super tasty, and like just got to go see what this would actually be like. Because for most of us, and I would say like even me, like ramen started to really come out into our culture. However, before that, it was really like sushi was the only like Japanese thing, and then like you're American, so you just butcher it with fucking a ton of soy sauce that's like cheap soy sauce or mayo or something else like that that's over there, which by the way, like mayo is pretty good. And then you start really like diving into this world of ramen, and I was a huge fan of Agretzko, and I know that's like you're kind of like take it or leave it, but there's the entire third season or second season she's being courted by this rich billionaire, and he's like, are you a fan of sushi? And she goes, yeah. Private jet all the way to like Okinawa, because Okinawa, he's like, nope, they have the best like water for this broth for this. And it's one of those things where over here, like in Virginia and Carolina, barbecue, even down like Texas, but like barbecue is so varied based on the spices where they get it from. Like some people are like, nope, it's salt and pepper. Some people,
it has regional influences, and it is of the place.
And ramen broth and ramen is actually almost the exact same way. Like one for one, I would say they're the exact same thing.
Yeah. Varies by region. Everyone has their favorite. Yeah.
And it's like I'm here. I'm North Carolina, like a North Carolina dish of barbecue with their North Carolina like barbecue sauce. Like a little bit more vinegar, like some tomato in there, but it's not as heavy, very acidic. And it's like, well, you know, if I go get ramen, I would probably say shoyu's been my favorite. However, I've had some really good tonkatsu recently, and that's an amazing broth. See, we can just go on about this. But I would say one of the other things that you and I absolutely love are steam bun and like pot stickers.
Bao.
Steam
all
bao.
the bao.
All the bao. Oh my god, takoyaki, like want to try that so bad. And it's just one of those things where like you and I Mrs. Play has like anime
14 anime foods every anime fan needs to try.
Yeah. There have been a couple. There's some like
Tokiyaki.
Oh, that's the octopus balls.
Yep, that's the octopus balls.
And I watched that when I was playing in Yakuza. Like there's a point where you watch them make it, and Walmart had a huge sale on it, and apparently over here you can use it and like make a ton of other things with it. But it's super good, and it's actually one of my favorite things. You and I went and saw was it? I think it was earlier this year or late last year. We went and saw Weathering with You, and you and I are not.
I think it was. I don't know. Time has no meaning.
I
can't say reliably.
Oh, it was last year. It was definitely last year.
Was it?
Yeah, because I was talking to someone about work about it, and that person's no longer with us.
All right.
That's how I'm gonna. That's how I'm gonna.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
that's what
Continue. So Weathering with.
So, which one fantastic movie?
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely loved it. But there's a point in it where he goes to Japan, or he goes to the main island of Japan, and he goes to McDonald's, and that's where he meets the other main character, and she gives him a Big Mac. Now I enjoy me some like junk food. I will totally crush.
He's a trash food connoisseur.
Yeah, I totally. I will totally go crush some Taco Bell. I'm not always the biggest fan of McDonald's. Like sometimes I'm like a Big Mac sounds like it just, but never before in my life have I been like I want a fucking Big Mac like right now.
It was the best looking Big Mac I've ever seen, and that includes like the McDonald's commercials in the United States.
Didn't even touch it.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
And I absolutely
if McDonald's looked that beautiful when it was given to me in the little cardboard box, like I would be more interested in eating McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
No. Well, I mean, it's also food standards, but like that's food politics for a whole nother day.
Yes. Weathering with You, 2019. Good job.
Does it say who it was made by? Child of Weather is a Japanese fantasy film.
Produced by.
Yeah.
Production company things.
Makoto Shinkai. Yeah. So one fantastic movie. I highly recommend seeing it. I absolutely loved it. I think it's a great like couples movie, especially if you have someone who's like, I'm not really into anime. It's a very good.
It was like romance, coming of age. Like it still meets the criteria. It was really good, and the art style is beautiful.
It was. Oh god, the production was up there. It was like any Studio Ghibli. It was right up there with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say like our food questing, because Steam Bao, we go to the Asian market. Mm-hmm. Came home with some today. It's great. Throw it in the microwave. It's a minute later, and you have like delicious hot bread and bean filling, and it's fantastic.
It's a pork filling.
It's a pork filling. I was eating the mochi too.
Yeah,
I had 2 mochis.
I was like, that's not what I ate.
But you and I, last year, went over to England.
I wasn't there. Where did we go? No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Because you're like, we went there. I'm like, yeah, I know. I was there. So as soon as we got into London, we dropped off our luggage because our Airbnb wasn't quite ready yet. But there are plenty of places we were like, here, hold my stuff. And we went to London's Chinatown, and I had already like picked out a dumpling place, and we go in, and guys, I didn't. You can tell I don't do this often. I'm like, I will take 3 orders of this thing. Because I thought, like, they were individual pieces. They weren't.
No, it's not.
They weren't. So we ordered probably, like, 3-4 people's worth of food. And it was just the 2 of us, jet-lagged.
Oh, my God. It was...
trying to eat this amount of food, like, it was casual.
It was like, at the end, it was like we're forcing ourselves to eat it. Like, we're dumbasses.
We're hurting ourselves, but it was
we
so
walked
good.
it off. It's okay. We walked a lot.
We did, but it was like soup dumplings.
But it came out in like, and the thing to me
it was so pretty. Continue.
It wasn't necessarily the fact that it looked how I'd always seen it. We've always seen it look. Like it came out in the bamboo steamer, they pulled it off, and you have the dumplings there, and they had little crimps on the top of it, and they were twisted, and it was just one of those. It was such a good place, and it was like, oh, we've seen this before, and then like you've like it because over here, in the United States, at least where we are, we have Peter Chang's, which they do fantastic, like more authentic Chinese food if you want to go there, but there's nothing like this. Like if you want dumplings, it's like pot stickers. And
yeah, gyoza.
Don't get me wrong, we can crush some gyoza too, but this was absolutely outstanding, and it looked like you always saw it in an anime, like when you would watch Dragon Ball Z and Bulma would be like, we need more of this. Nope, can we get 2 more orders of this? And like you'd see Vegeta and Trunks, like I'm going from Super, where they're going out to celebrate, and he's just they're just crushing the food.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely absolutely gorgeous, and I'm so glad that we had a chance to try something like that, because like the next time we can get that, probably going to Japan in hopefully 2 years. Mrs. Play is looking at
I'm looking at all the food. Yeah, our only other option being Alexandria.
because they have the China. There's a Koreatown up there.
They have Koreatown up there and stuff, but they're
probably gonna find dumplings.
Yeah, like you can find dumplings there. Like, guys, I love dumplings. But yeah, in our immediate vicinity, that would be one of our best bets, like going up to Alexandria or DC to try and find something.
What was the so we went to go see Todrick Hall earlier this year too. No, late last year.
Yes.
2020 has been 5 years.
Time has no meaning.
Yeah, 5 years of 2020.
Continue.
And you and I went to a tea and soup place, because I got udon soup, and it was delicious, because like my favorite noodle, like that's the other thing with I think ramen, where it's like it's not just like the ramen noodle. There's thin ramen, there's a rice noodle, there's curly ramen, there's udon. Like there's so many different types of noodles and things that you can get to make it. Like I think the udon is my favorite. And it was this tea place, and I cannot think of what it was called, but it was so good. And you were like, let's go try here, and then we went to go see
Teaism.
That's right.
Teaism.
And we went and had that before we went and saw Todrick Hall. And it was absolutely fantastic. And they had great teas. You and I have...
Yeah, they had like an entire wall where it was just like, here are all the different types of tea that we can make. And the food was delicious. It came out fast. I had some sort of Thai dish with grilled meats. And all I remember thinking is like, oh my god, this is perfectly cooked, and it's so flavorful. And the lemongrass was divine. The tea was excellent. It was a cold night. It was November time frame.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the food looks just like all the pictures.
It does. And I think that's kind of what has made it so, like you said, that, you know, life imitates art, which imitates life, which imitates art, which imitates life. Life. Oh, wow. And it's something that's really fun to be like, okay, it all started with me being like, hey, I love this thing. And you'd be like, okay, I can watch this with you. It's not, like, I can find an anime that you like, or, yeah, I found an anime that you like or have been, like, enthusiastic about. And then it's like, okay, and then you've been so kind to be like, hey, do you want to go try it?
Yeah, like it definitely broadens our horizons and makes us more like open to trying things that otherwise like we wouldn't be exposed to or really have an opinion about. I'm like, what is that little fried round ball thing? That could be anything. I don't know if I want to try it. Like, no, trust me. This is street food. This is of the highest quality. Put this in your mouth. You'll love it.
And because it's weird, because like I don't like octopus. Like octopus, I have an unrealistic fear of octopuses. Octopi. Octopussies. Pussies for life, yo. Of octopi. Like it freaks me out. But takoyaki, I'm like, oh wow, that looks amazing. And I don't have to see the suction cups. It's literally the suction cup, guys. Like they suction cups.
He has fears.
And eating them bothers me like none other. So yeah, that's always been, that's what I think has been so amazing about like watching anime with you, and like still being such a huge nerd and like playing a bunch of different games, because there've even been points where we've played like Spider-Man or something, and he goes and gets like a giant pizza, and like he pulls it out and you see the cheese like
dripping, sticking.
Yeah,
like it stretches like good mozzarella.
Yeah, I mean, but like even think about going to go see like Ninja Turtles. Do you remember watching the Ninja Turtles comic back in the day, or like the cartoon? They'd pull it up and like you'd watch like some of the cheese like goop, and it's like you look at that now and you're like, why is the cheese that goopy, guys?
Yeah.
But at the same time, that looks so good. Like it's just this like, it's trying to like tell you like you have to like hold your tongue out like to drip it into your mouth while you're putting the
I'm frowning.
And I'm like pantomiming.
He's like
shoving
nom
things
nom
to my
nom.
mouth. Yeah.
Like, oh.
But I think cartoons and animation and like video games now have really started to embrace, now that we have the technology, and it's not just like, here's this bowl of liquid and you watch and the liquid goes away, or like
anything.
gruel or whatever. they've really done such a good job at, no, we're eating something and this something is important.
Yeah, and making an egg omelet, like something so simple and humble, look so appetizing.
Oh yeah.
You're like, I want to eat that.
It's like, you could literally make this at home. It's not going to have that pretty of a yellow color. I know how my store-bought eggs look.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's... I do greatly appreciate that, or the fact that just sitting down, like, even just how respected tea was in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, you and I will steep some tea and crush some tea, especially, like, now these colder months get here. And... you know, this hot leaf juice that we like to drink.
Just tastes like hot leaf juice.
Can't believe it. I'm a member of my own family. But it's one of those where, like, we've gone places now that have done exceptional and exquisite tea, and they go like, nope, it's not ready yet. Nope, don't let it sit there much longer. And it's not just
like, you will follow these instructions. I'm like, I love all your rules. Thank you.
And it's like, okay, well, try this, okay? And, okay, is green tea too bitter for you? Try green tea this way.
Yeah, at this temperature, stop heating the water up too much. That's why you don't like it.
And it just comes out to be this, like, oh, here's this experience of someone else who loves that. And once again, it's like something that, like, I watched in anime. It's like,
and seeing speaking of tea, seeing a tea ceremony.
Yes.
We got to do that when we went to the British Museum. Instead of, like, watching a tea ceremony from start to finish. It was so beautiful. And the care, the level of care, the craftsmanship, the intentionality behind each step is steeped in meaning.
And then it's also like, nope, if you're coming in here to have tea, because the way you had to enter the tea house, you entered on your knees, so you were automatically humbled.
Yeah, you lower yourself.
And you couldn't come in with your swords. So if you were samurai, ronin, something like that, you had to come in, one, unarmed, and then two, humbled and lowering yourself. So it was definitely one of those where you watched it, and it is a, as you said, humbling, but it's a equalizer. Yes. I would almost say, like, yes. And it's tea, so you will respect it. You will respect how it's made. To the point, like, even over here, you and I, like, we have matcha that we will just be like, okay, tonight we're just going to make a matcha rather than, like, a traditional green tea, or we're going to actually have more of a traditional green tea. Ocha. Ocha, kohi. Practicing Japanese.
He's practicing his words.
Ochi. And it's lovely, and I'm very excited that, like, you and I have kind of chased, like, it's been like, hey, I really like Japanese and Asian inspired foods because I love me some anime, and you've been like, you know what, I like food, I'll go, I can get in on this, because I've even been like, hey, look at this thing, we could go somewhere and get this, and you've been like, yeah, we could probably find that somewhere, and it's like a bento box. You go places, and we've got Osan downtown. You can just get a bento box there now. And
so good.
Before that, it was just like Japanese anime. All the school kids had it. And then you realize, well...
Chris is jealous of the anime school kids. I want that!
Goddamn anime high schoolers!
Lucky.
Yeah. And then, like, but you sit there and you, like, see them with, like, they've got the, oh god, what's the way that you always get shrimp? It's the fried way. Tempura. And they've got, like, the shrimp tail hanging out their mouth. And it's one of those... But we can actually get that. And I think that's been super fun.
So Mr. Play grew up in a beach town, and he didn't have all these options.
We had seafood, and we had sushi.
Sure.
And we had people who would prefer it, like, Inari style. And they would do it like that, but it was the elegance of the same... It wasn't... In Japan, it's the rice.
Yeah.
For us, it was the fish.
Yes.
So it was the same thing, but we were focusing on two different parts. So I did grow up with some of that, but like it was tempura, whatever. But you didn't do that to good fish. Which, granted, you go over to Japan, and they're like, you don't tempura good fish either.
They're like, yeah, we know. We are an island nation.
Yeah. You think the island nation would know how to cook fish? I mean, they do.
Yeah. They're the best at it.
Uh,
They're the best at it.
Look. Coming from
The best
coming
at it.
coming from a beach town,
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to want to take pride in where I come from and
Sure.
how we
I
cook
will take any Japanese person off the street and put them up against you.
That sounds a little wrong when you say it like that.
With food.
That still sounds... What happens if they're not a good cook? What happens if they butcher it because they always cook it too long? Like, then what? Then what are you going to say?
They are an island nation.
That doesn't mean that they all know how... I can take you to some crappy seafood places if we go back next week.
I love how angry he is. He's just like, how dare you?
The disrespect.
I love you.
I love you too. We're getting to the end here. Thank you guys so much for letting us talk about tea talk about food. And anime, like just
dumplings. I love a dumpling.
I like how much of like video games and nerd like has bled over into our real life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I still haven't found a martial art fighting alien yet. I'm a little disappointed in life for not giving me that.
You're just not looking hard enough.
I am not, and no one has slapped me in the face and been like, "Get the giant fucking robot." I'm a little disappointed in that too. I'm honestly hoping that when the Olympics
resume
next year in Japan,
yep,
that they have an experience when you go over there. They have an officer in their military slap you in the face and say, "Get in the fucking robot," because I would line up for that shit.
Chris is like, slap me harder.
Harder, daddy. Like,
yeah,
whoa.
Well, that's exactly where you went.
Yes.
Like, we have other places for people like you. Not out here in public, sir.
Oh my god.
Not out here in public. Way to like take we went from food to your kinks.
I was watching at the Yakuza where it was
love you.
Be My Baby. And so the main character goes in there and it's an adult entertainment place.
Uh-huh.
And he's in there and he's in a room and this petite young thing walks in and was like, "How do you like your milk?" And he's like, "Excuse you?" He's like, "Well, do you like milk?" And he's like, "Yeah, like I'm a big strong man. Like I drank milk to get strong." They're like, "Do you prefer it from a bottle or fresh from the source?" And he's like, "Wait a minute, can we talk about this?" And he knocks over the wall because it's supposed to be like he's in a nursery and there are all these like grown Yakuza who are like in diapers, like, and it's a very crazy story because it's Yakuza and what they do. But that's all it had me thinking of was just the face I am getting. I
am appalled.
Is appalled and confused.
And appalled. Like that's.
Look, people like different things.
Sure, but we were here talking about food. Damn it.
Okay, that's
Why
fine.
did you make it weird at the end?
I mean, that's kind of my life. Is why did you make it weird at the end? It's kind of what I do. Okay. So we're wrapping up. Is there anything that you've seen, because that you like seen in anime, seen in video games, where you're like, we still haven't tried that, and I want to try that?
In Food Wars, they did this like crazy fluffy egg. It was an omelet dish of some sort, and it was like an omelet souffle kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And I know we could make it. I just haven't tried it, but it looked like so fluffy. And absolutely delicious, and I would love to try that. And then there's also, and I'm not sure if this was an anime precisely, but there's again, it's like a pancake souffle kind of thing. Instead of like a pancake being like, like a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch thick, this sucker was like fluffy, by like 2-3 inches.
I remember seeing
and
that.
It's a pancake, and it's only maybe the size of like a small orange or something, but it's like super freaking tall because it's
so fluffy.
Yeah, it just rises, and I would want to try that too.
I literally just want to try takoyaki. I don't, because
you just want to go to street food vendor. And
I do. I want to, because like I am such a junk food. Like I am a trash panda at heart.
I mean, you are, but street food isn't. Street food is like its own category, and it's.
But I would still probably. It's probably like if you had to equate it, it would be junk food. Like it's fast food, doesn't mean it's bad food. I'm probably not the healthiest for you still.
Like I think Taco Bell is bad food. I don't care.
I mean, Taco Bell is bad food, but it hits a craving spot. That's what I want for. and I want to go over there and try. Like I think takoyaki would be one of those things that haunts me because you go there and they make it and you order it by the ball. So do you want like 20 balls of octopus, 20 octopus balls? Like that's just what you go for. You make it weird and you shove all the balls in your mouth. Just remember, you married me willingly without being under duress.
Mm-hmm. And on that flat note, thank you guys for tuning into the Wrong Button podcast.
Remember that you can like, comment, subscribe. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Wrong Button podcast comes out as of right now, the first weekend of every month, and then you can still catch this on YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, Google Podcasts,
What?
Alexa.
You're everywhere.
Oh yeah, we're on Alexa. We could go over to a friend's house and be like, Alexa, play Wrong Button.
She's so fancy.
And we are also on iTunes. So you can get us on your iPod or iPhone or Apple products.
Wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for joining us, everybody.
And remember that you're all winners out there. Keep it weird and have a good day.